Today, you're going to find out what the next big thing and the best thing in crypto is going to be. Watch this interview I do with my favorite bro himself, Kenn Bosak. We discuss why the next biggest thing in crypto in terms of value and adoption is a funky kind of token most people haven't heard of. Find out what it is and why getting tiny BitBoys may be super lucrative in the future. Let's get it.
BitBoy Crypto, how goes it, my bro? So,
yeah,
who the hell is BitBoy?
Well, my name is Ben, and I am the host of BitBoy Crypto. We're trying to make a slight distinction between me and BitBoy himself. BitBoy is a superhero. He is a cryptocurrency superhero.
So am I talking to the alter ego right now, or am I talking to...
Kind of. There's a little bit of an Easter egg when we start releasing the BitBoy comics. There's a little bit of an Easter egg about his name. I'll let you guys figure that out. But no, I am not the alter ego. I had this idea early in January 2018. Right when things were at the fever pitch, I had this idea to do this animated cartoon series. So I started the channel to do that. But then over the bear market, there's no fun. You know, nobody wanted anything fun. They didn't want a cartoon. They didn't want a comic. They didn't want parodies. They didn't want rap songs. They didn't want anything. All they wanted was, you know, to be miserable and be depressed.
Yeah, so, they wanted what was they call that, like horror porn or whatever news. You know, they get off on like that negative media, and that's what kind of like 100%. People fed into it during the bear market. That's really where like people were getting off to just the more negativity, the better for them. You know, I don't know why, but yeah.
So that's basically what happened. And a friend of mine actually talked me in. He's actually works with me on the NFTs now. He taught me into doing news videos very early on. Said I'd be good at it. Said I can, you know, communicate well, and I knew a lot about crypto. So I started doing news videos and grinded it on the channel for years. And then this year we finally hit the jump off. So,
dude, it's like almost kind of a prophecy, or like you've come full circle, like, you know, mentioning Mt. Gox and what you're doing now with the NFTs and the cards. Like a lot of people don't know that Bitcoin trading started between Magic the Gathering enthusiasts. Like Mt. Gox was Magic the Gathering exchange, just so happened to be like, oh, we do digital card things, we could do digital coin things, and they, you know, Mark just added it. It was crazy. So to see, you know, you kind of go full circle and come back to, like, you know, trading cards with the Mt. Gox thing. That's really awesome, man. And let people know a little bit about that too, because I mean, maybe they're not aware.
Yeah, it's funny because, I mean, it's really allowed me to come back full circle. I mean, I think a lot of people think, like, I just, you know, NFTs are popular, so I'm going to jump in and do this and do this. But this was actually the original intention of this entire channel. If you go back and watch the first videos of the channel, they're not that great. But, you know, it was me trying to animate and tell this story. And you know, we never actually put out the first real true episode of the comic series. But we tried a lot of stuff. Animation was really hard. So this NFT craze, if you will, has really allowed us to jump back into that, and we are just absolutely full force in it. So we are on Rarible, and we are we put out a bunch of cards, and we're trying to separate. We're actually going to be doing a second verified Rarible account soon, where we're going to do kind of like fan art. And, you know, if you're on Rarible and you've sold stuff, people send you a ton of stuff. We're going to start selling that stuff through a different store. So we want our BitBoy collectibles to be really everything aligned with the BitBoy comic brand. We actually have what I believe is the first NFT comic book, where each page is going to be a separate NFT coming out. We're working hard on that right now. That's going to start telling the story of BitBoy, how he became BitBoy, you know, kind of some flashback stuff. You know, it's going to be pretty cool. So we're going to be doing that. We've got the cover pretty much ready to go. We're going to be releasing that. I don't know when we're going to do it, because we're about to do a big release right now. I actually want to show you the first card here in a minute. Oh, shit. But yeah, I'm going to show you that here in just a second. And so we want everything to be the BitBoy brand, BitBoy collectible brand, the BitBoy comic series. We're adding utility to these cards. These are not like where I'm just like, hey, I have a big audience on YouTube. Here's a card, go buy it. Like, all of these cards ultimately are going to have like really big utility that we can talk about here in a few minutes. But yeah, we've really jumped hot and heavy into the space, and we're super excited to, you know, like we're working with 4 of the biggest NFT, you know, projects out there right now. So
Nice. I wonder what your thoughts are doing something like this and thinking, sort of inspirationally. Do you think like, with the success of like a BitBoy tokenized comic series, you could take a lot of what you're going to learn to conversations with legacy comics? I would love to see Marvel be inspired by what you're doing and be able to use it as a catalyst for like, okay, we could do a tokenized Spider-Man comic with, Rarible or NFTs or X, Y, and Z. And, being the first to do something it's really, kind of ground paving. So I appreciate you putting in a lot of this effort. It's not like you have a catalyst that you can point to, but you're kind of building that blueprint. So have you thought about maybe reaching out to like legacy comics, or not something like as big as Marvel, but some of those like, lesser knowns that are still on the shelves in like comic book shops?
I have not personally thought about doing that. I think that's a really interesting idea. One thing we've been tossing around, I think this is what we're going to do for the comic. We're working on the page numbers. We want to do 10 pages. So each one would be 10 cards. We may actually end up going longer than that, and making them maybe less expensive. But the thing is once you actually get all the cards to a comic, if you have all, like, what's the incentive to get all the cards? Because if you want to read it, you can just screenshot them.
Right. I could go get a PDF of like Spider-Man issue 1. I don't have to buy it. I can get it from BitTorrent.
But if we actually, if you buy all the cards, or you don't even have to, it gets a little sketchy because it's like, do you have to own them or do you have to buy them? Because if someone were to resale and collect all of them, then I don't know exactly how that would work.
I'm really happy you made that distinction, because a lot of people don't pay attention to that when it comes to utility for NFTs. A lot of the time, it is direct purchase, and then secondaries don't really benefit from some kind of a utility. Well, and that adds a different value to like buying it from you directly as opposed to buying it secondary. Right,
because what we want to do is we want to make it, if you collect all the cards, then we send you a physical copy of the book.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Boom. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so you get a physical copy. So there'll be very few of these copies actually make. Somebody had to, and that's where it gets a little dicey. And we're trying to think through all these things, because like, okay, what if you miss one of the cards on the original sale? Like, if you collect them all, can you send that to us? Because then we got to be careful about scammers and people being like, okay, well, I'm going to resell them to myself a bunch of times and collect them a bunch of times to get all these copies. So I don't know. Ultimately you would have to do some form of KYC to receive it, because we're gonna have to ship it to you, so we're gonna have to at least get your shipping details and stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe we can kind of use that, is something. I mean, look, an actual comic book, what it would cost to print is not a ton of money, obviously. We could probably find a way
to talk about the illustrating, the writing, and everything.
But that's what comes in. Yeah, right. The illustrating takes a long time. We got a storyboard. This is not like, I think sometimes people think like, they just throw crap on there. But like, we have thought through like a lot of this, and we've been very methodical.
Well, the art shows it. It's very polished, AAA. And
it's about to be. Wait till you see the card today. It's about to be. We're taking it to another level. So
keep setting the bar, bro. Keep setting that bar.
So here are the cards we got right now. We actually cleaned out our whole shop. We sold everything, and we've been very methodical about what we want to do going forward. Here's our little. We're starting these things called BitBoy Extras, because we're trying to make sure every card has a place in our BitBoy collection. So like, here's just a Halloween card we made, little bat. It's like 0.2 ETH, 0.22, something like that. So we have these available. Obviously, there's our Halloween. After Halloween, we burn the rest. So if they don't all sell, you're gonna have extra copies. Your card's going to be more rare. So that's what we're doing with this. But here's our new series. Okay. So this is the shill here.
Oh my God. I love this.
This is the shill. So,
it's double-sided.
Yeah, it's double-sided. So each one is going to give a little explanation of what these characters are. So the shill, he's misunderstood. He's actually a good guy. He's a hero, but people see him, they're like, the shill. They think he's a bad guy. He's got these red eyes. He has, kind of Gambit-esque explosive crypto cards. He knows exactly what card to use at the right time, what cryptocurrency is needed for every situation. He knows the utility, So if he's in a battle with somebody, he knows exactly what to do to try to battle that person. So this is card 4 of 8 character cards. So we're releasing all 8 of our characters, 4 heroes and 4 villains. They're all going to be the Grand Theft Crypto style. Digital City. Now, this is important because Digital City is that is where these people live. That's where all these characters live. Digital City. It's actually it's kind of like the Matrix. It's like its own kind of dimension, wired into the Bitcoin network or cryptocurrency network. I know.
Oh, so it's like kind of like a node or something like that.
Yeah,
I get it.
Something like that, right? Now, eventually these characters will end up escaping onto the regular world. We got a whole story behind it. So so if you look over on the right-hand side, here is the description. I'm just going to read it for everybody because it's pretty cool what we're doing, okay? The Shill Digital City BitBoy Collection. This is card 4 out of 13 in the series. Owners of this card, so basically every card, when it sells out, we're going to do a 6 ETH giveaway to all the people that currently hold the card when it happens. So first place would win 3 ETH, second place will win 2, and third place will win 1. This is where it gets pretty interesting with the utility, though. Owners who own both this card and card 8 of the series, which we'll be releasing later this week, maybe tomorrow even, FOMO, will receive a free airdropped versus card. So we're going to be making these versus cards of pairs of these characters facing off against each other.
Nice. I was wondering when that was going to happen because I seen a lot of, they're all individual characters, but I was waiting for some kind of like crossover or team up, mashup, Avengers style or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we're kind of showing these characters that have rivalries, right? So you'll receive a free airdrop versus card pitting the Shill versus FOMO. This will be card 9 out of 13 in the series, only available via the airdrop. Guaranteed to be more rare than the first 8 cards in the series. So if you own the 2 characters that are on the versus card, you get the versus card airdropped. So basically you have to own both to get that free card. You're getting a whole card for absolutely free just for having those 2. Then owners who gather all 8 of the character cards and earn all 4 of the versus cards. So you own all 12, you have all 8 character cards, you earn all 4 of the versus cards because you have all the characters, will get a special super rare card, which is card number 13 in the series. It's only via airdrop, guaranteed to be super rare because somebody's got to own all 8 of them to get it. And this is where things get really cool. And this is where number 4, more special utility, will be unlocked in future announcements of all BitBoy card holders, or it should say 4 all BitBoy card holders. We're going to find a way to build in utility for every card that we've sold through this platform. And what card number 13 is going to be is it's going to be a map of Digital City. So you're going to get the full map of Digital City, and we're also going to mail you a poster of it. So you're not just going to be, you're not just, just remember, I'm just here. It's cash grab. We're not thinking through anything. We're just throwing our.
Yeah, dude, you're such a scammer. I can't believe you.
I know, right?
You're doing so little for your community.
So little for the community. So little for NFTs. I'm just here to a flash in the pan here. So anyway, we're going to be sending out posters of the map of Digital City. We're working on it right now. Hopefully it will be done by the end of the series, which we're going to be releasing 2 a week. So it's basically going to run for 4 weeks, and then we got to see how fast they sell and things like that.
That is awesome. You know what that reminds me of? And it's funny because it's straight up going with the theme of the card there. It reminds me of what Grand Theft Auto did when they said that if you pre-order the game, you can get a map of the city, but that's the only way to get the map of the Grand Theft Auto city. And without that map, bro, you know how hard missions are? Like, you can't go, let me go run to my wall real quick and reference, I got to go down the high. There was a big incentive to go and get that game early so you can get the Grand Theft Auto map.
We're going to be tying all this in together. Okay, this is where the future comes in, okay? We are actually going to be tying all of this together in with our land on Sandbox. We are actually, I know. This is where it gets crazy. We are actually going to be building Digital City here on our land in Sandbox. And we have some of the finest designers. We have Minecraft professionals that we're paying to come in here and build this city on our land. And we build in the utility to the cards, okay, where every card has something that it unlocks inside of the city, inside the game. If you have special cards, you'll have to have certain cards to get into certain areas of the game. So right now we're
it's like a red bandana or a blue bandana to get into certain areas of your neighborhood.
Exactly. So we're going to have special rooms. There's going to be like a special bar or a special, arcade or whatever it is built into the city that only the people that own certain cards can get into. Now we may have other ways that people can earn interest into that, but it's basically like a shortcut. Like if you think about Zelda, which is the only role-playing game I ever play. I really like Zelda. I don't really get into, a lot of the other kind of turn-based games. But when you get in, if you're in Zelda, there are certain things that you can do to be able to get into a room early, but then there's longer quests that you can go on, you can go and do. Like you can kind of buy your way in, is like, if you have 1,000 rupees, you can get into this special store. But also, like, if you go and you defeat this person somewhere, like, you can also get access to it. Now, in addition to all this, we also are going to be launching the first ever NFT card game launched through Wax themselves. Now, yeah.
Yes.
Now there are card games that have launched on the Wax blockchain, but we're actually working directly with Wax to launch this card game. We're looking at probably a January release for it. So it'll be kind of like, some of the card games, like we talked about earlier, Magic the Gathering, have some elements of some of these games inside of it. But it's going to be a cryptocurrency version, and it's going to be fun, man. We're really excited about it. We've got some really good designers. And it's, everything works hand in hand. The digital city, the NFTs, the cards, the actual game, the card game itself, like the comics. These are all like wrapping around to tell the story of the BitBoy crypto universe. And we're also trying to figure out ways to implement, the cards also into our card game with Wax. So like if you own a certain character, maybe you get a special pack, for the game that has, 3 versions of that character in it guaranteed. But that's something now that is, we're getting a little more into like conversations we have to have with Wax to make sure that like, because we want the card sale to be fair where everybody has a chance. And so we're trying to figure out if we can actually, can we set aside certain cards to have utility that, it might mess up the odds on the game. So that's an idea that we have.
Personally, I am hella excited for what you're going to do with Wax. That's my bigger, like, I tell people NFTs are coins. Like, I got bags of NFTs when people have bags of tokens. But my bag overall is like with Wax NFTs and the utility. Like, you couldn't build a game on Ethereum right now, maybe with 2.0, but you know how expensive it would be just to do things and sign contracts to like engage with a blockchain game on ETH. The fact that you can do it on Wax for like free, that's going to be really fun.
So we're going with them. Yeah. And we like Wax too. We like the people there. We like the founder, Bill Quigley. Like we like the whole thing. We've liked Wax for a long time. And I know you've been bullish on Wax. Stash has been bullish on Wax. Stash is bullish on Stash Wax also. But
well, what I want to get into real quick before we go is what you're doing on Rarible is going to help a lot with what you're going to do on Wax, right? Like, I don't know if a lot of people are familiar, but Wax is getting into the whole DeFi distribution of like, resources kind of a thing. Same thing like what Rarible is doing with Rari, they're going to be doing with Wax. So, there's going to be an interesting mechanic. Same thing with like the sales and transactions on Rarible where Wax is generated and given to dividends and stuff to people. So you're going to be able to take this whole learning process from Rarible and apply it to the Wax launch, which is going to be cool to see. Like, you know,
what do you guys think about utility for NFTs? Drop me a comment down below and let me know what you think about what we're doing at BitBoy Collectibles. Make sure to check out the full video on Kenn's channel, link below. That's all I got. Be blessed. BitBoy out.